Hello, pet. Have you come to join Daddy? Have you come to join your daddy? You are such a good boy. Where's my boy? Where's my little Sid? Bless him. Oh, bless him. Come on, Sid. Good morning again, my dear friends, and lovely to have you with us, dear Magdalena. And welcome to David. Good to have you with us. And to Florence, I pray you're feeling better and prayers are still being said for you. So now let me get my glasses. Let us just relax for a moment. And as you can see, the sun is shining bright. What a change in the weather for us. But let us absorb some of that sun. And let us allow the rays of God's love and the rays of Brother Sun into our heart. And just be still. And relax. And welcome, Mary. Mary Haggerty. That sounds like a good Irish name. Excuse me, I need a drink. This is a live webinar. It's a thought for today. And for those who don't know me, I'm Brother Sean, otherwise known as Father Ted. That's my nickname. So our first reflection this morning is from Henry J.M. Newven, from his book, You Are the Beloved. It is a beautiful book. And his theme this morning for the 4th of February, love bears fruit. Against my own best intentions, I find myself continually striving to acquire power. When I give advice, I want to know whether it is being followed. When I offer help, I want to be thanked. When I give money, I want it to be used my way. And when I do something good, I want to be remembered. I might not get a statue or even a memorial plaque, but I'm constantly concerned that I not be forgotten, that somehow I will live on in the thoughts and deeds of others. But the father of the prodigal son is not concerned about himself. His long-suffering life has emptied him of his desires to keeping control of things. His children are his only concern. To them he wants to give himself completely, and for them he wants to pour out all of himself, just like good parents for their children. Can I give without wanting anything in return? Love without putting any conditions on my love? Considering my immense need for human recognition and affection, I realize that it will be a lifelong struggle. But I am also convinced that each time I step over this need and act free of my concern for return, I can trust that my life can truly bear the fruits of God's Spirit. They are quite challenging words. And it's not easy in the people business of giving, and nothing forthcoming. And I can only speak to you as one who was in the people business for over 38 years as a nursing monk, and then laterally as a nurse in palliative care, caring for the dying in hospital and at home. And also as a retreat director, where we would take large groups to St Catherine's Monastery by the Red Sea in Sinai in Egypt. But there's a part of us that needs to feel needed. And most nurses, this is true, I would say 98% of nurses are needy people. We're rescuers. We love to rescue. Oh, I did. But that was because deep within my being, there was an insecurity all the way back to childhood. That need to be needed. But with that need to be needed can spoil the good things you do for God, for other people, where you're looking for applause, where you're looking for praise. And as a monk in service to God, I get so many emails asking for prayer, but a large percentage of them don't even address you or don't even sign their name. It's like they're bullying you into praying for them with no respect for themselves or their request. And I find that so challenging and so hard. Or could it be that I have an expectation that people will say, dear Sean, dear brother Sean, dear whatever, thank you. My grandmother taught me this growing up in Dublin, when she brought me over from Scotland, where I was born in Glasgow at the age of 3. She always said to me, never forget to say thank you. And always remember that when you climb the ladder of success in your life, in your career, always remember the people who are kind to you, because one day you will slip off that ladder and may hit rock bottom. And that's when you need your friends. I've never forgotten those words, because those words mean so much to me. But how many people thank God today for the wonderful gifts they receive, such as brother sun, the rain, the water we drink, the food grown for us by Mother Earth? Do we ever stop to say thank you, God, for your gift of creation, for a warm bed, for a roof over our head? We're living in a culture today of what I would call the takers community. Take, 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 take as much as you can. It's like at the moment here in the UK, they're all on about Brexit. It's driving people to distraction. Well, it is me. And people are stockpiling on toilet rolls and medicines. It's just a mindset of fear. I mean, who do we trust? The politicians? Many do. But so many at the moment here are gripped in fear. It's like if it came on the news, a famine was going to happen in the world on the 5th of February. What would people do? They'd assault the supermarkets and there'd be no food left for those who need food. And the people stockpiling, do they really need to stockpile when they've got basements full of food, tin food? But that's the world we live in. But what world do you live in as a child of God? If you put out love from your heart to another in God's name, that bears fruit. If you're going to the local shops to buy, say, bread or vegetables, you meet people that you don't even know, but you can smile and say good morning. They might look at you as if you've lost it, but if you can just smile, that's doing a good act. And that bears fruit because it gives you that inner knowing, an inner sense that you're doing what God's asking of you. To ease another's burden without getting involved in their drama. My prayer today is that people will show more gratitude to God for this beautiful gift of creation and the animal kingdom. And there we pause from the first reflection. The second reflection for today is from a little booklet called the United Christian Broadcast. And I'm not promoting Christianity. I'm just saying I'm taking the reflection from it. And it's saying you're going to get through this storm. And the author guides us to a quote in the New Testament Bible, the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 27, verse 25. I believe God that it shall be even as it was told me. Well, let's read on. On his way to Rome, Paul went through a devastating storm. His story teaches us three valuable lessons. The first lesson, your disobedience can cause a storm. Because the captain wouldn't heed Paul's warning, he lost his ship, his cargo, and almost his life. Your disobedience can cause a storm in your health, your finances, your family, and your career. God doesn't preface his commandments by saying, if you feel like that, do this. No. He means what he says, and he intends it for your good. So pay attention. The second point, you're not alone in the storm. God is with you, and he's watching over you. Paul said, there stood by me this night an angel of God, whose I am and whom I serve, saying, fear not. God hath given thee all them that sail with thee. Wherefore, sirs, be of good cheer, for I believe God. And with God on board, there's not a storm powerful enough to take you under. And the third point, when you stand on God's promises, you have his authority. Paul may have looked like a prisoner, but in reality, he had more power than the captain. Though bound in chains, he was the freest man on the ship. You see, when you've heard clearly from God, you can handle any situation because his word says, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. That's from Isaiah 54, verse 17. So the word for you today is, keep trusting God, and he will bring you through the storm. Keep trusting God, and he will bring you through the storm. But where does that leave you and me when we're going through the most awful trials with illness, disappointment, rejection, where we're misunderstood, where people accuse us unfairly of being something we're not? Where does that leave you then? God's promise that he will be beside you always holds firm. Let us just relax, close our eyes, and let us call on the Spirit of God to just speak to our hearts. God's promise is that you live an abundant life where you attract God's blessing into your life. And you do this not by being clever or trying to manipulate God's word to challenge another, but to just live a life of simplicity where there's integrity and truth, love and joy, and where God's peace is important for you. But if you are today going through a drama, or you're at a crossroads in your journey, where you don't know whether to go forward, left, right, to stand still, or do a reverse turn, why not ask God to guide you, to show you, to point you in the right direction? And God will. But you have to ask, because you were given the gift of free will to choose. So let's use our gift of free will and let us call on our God and have a conversation with God, as I am with you. But come to God from your heart. And if your heart is broken, wounded, torn, battered, surrender it. Surrender it to the God who loves you, to the God who stands by you, who fights you in every corner of your life, the God who's trying to knock on your heart, but it may be closed because you're locked in a mindset of either unworthiness or fear or stress, or you're not good enough. They are not the words of Christ. That's the Antichrist playing havoc with your mind. Listen to your heart. It is your teacher. It is the gateway to your soul. And your soul is the gateway to a God of love. Embrace all that you are right now as a child of God. A child who is loved, valued, respected by God. So take your power back from all your worries and fears and those who've wronged you or hurt you, and come into God's power and stand by his promise that when you call upon him, he will come, and that he will sustain you, and all will be well. That's if you're in your heart. But if you choose to stay in your head and allow your false self lead you by the nose, then you'll go from one drama into another crisis. And you will never have God's peace. So today you must choose. Whose word do you trust? The voice of your God speaking to your heart, or the voice of your false self speaking to your mind? Be strong and listen to that inner voice who calls you by your name to come, to be still, and to allow your God draw you back. come home to God's love. And that love will heal you in your mind, in your body, in your spirit. But you have to initiate the healing process by using your gift of free will and asking God to come, to show you an alternative route to that inner peace, to nirvana. But are you wanting to do that? Or would you much rather others did it for you because it's easy? Remember, whatever you put out into the universe, it comes back. If you put out love in a smile, that comes back with many blessings. But if you put out a sour face and a frown, it will bite you on your butt. And if you are willing to trust in your God, then your God will stand by you and strengthen you. No matter what you're going through, trust me. Thank you for joining me on this Monday morning. I pray that what I've shared with you from my heart will resonate with the Christ within your heart, and that you have a good day. And remember, you are loved, and you are never alone on this amazing journey. That's if you stay grounded and protected by God's love. Till we meet again tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Love you all. Namaste, Shalom, Inshallah, Pax et Bonum, Om Shanti, Solo di Caritas, Salam Alaikum. And may the peace of whoever your God is reawaken your heart to say yes to love. Amen.